Good day, students. It's Teacher Ingrid here once again. Welcome back to my Bitmoji classroom at the Learning Nest. Today, we will have a new lesson, and it's about complex numbers. The objective is to use the relation I squared equals -1 and the commutative, associative, and distributive properties to add, subtract, and multiply complex numbers. So what is a complex number? A complex number has the form a plus bi, where a and b are real numbers and I is the imaginary unit. For a complex number a plus bi, a is called the real part of the number and b is called the imaginary part. Okay, so I want you to observe this Venn diagram. It shows some samples of complex numbers, like 3 plus 4i, 4 minus 2i, 1 minus I square root of 5. And under complex numbers are two sets of numbers like the real numbers and imaginary numbers. Notice that the set of real numbers is a subset of the set of complex numbers. That's because a real number can be written in the form a plus 0i, whose imaginary part is 0. Likewise, the set of imaginary numbers is also a subset of a complex or of complex numbers, because an imaginary number bi, where b is not equal to 0, can be written in the form 0 plus bi, whose real part is 0. So let's have an example for your understanding. Identify the real and imaginary parts of the given number. Then tell which of the sets or which of the following sets the number belongs to: real numbers, imaginary numbers, and complex numbers. So we have here 9 plus 5i. So the real part of 9 plus 5i is 9. This is the real part here. And the imaginary part is 5, because it's the multiplier of I. Okay, so what does 9 plus 5i belong to? Which part of the set of numbers? Because both the real and imaginary parts of 9 plus 5i are non-zero, the number belongs only to the set of complex numbers. So let's have another one, -7i. So what is the real part of this imaginary number or complex number? So the real part of -7 is 0, and the imaginary part is -7. What about what does or which part or which type of real or set of numbers it belongs to? Because the real part is 0, the number belongs to these sets: imaginary numbers and complex numbers. Right? So it's your turn. I want you to pause this video and answer letter C, 11. And then in the next slide, you can find the answers. Okay, so I want you to compare your answers with these answers here. Okay. So let's have now adding and subtracting complex numbers. So to add or subtract complex numbers, add or subtract the real parts and the imaginary parts separately. You add and subtract complex numbers by combining like terms. So let's dive into the first example, A. Negative 7 plus 2i plus 5 minus 11i, or the quantity of negative 7 plus 2i plus the quantity 5 minus 11i. So first we will separate the real part from the imaginary part. So this is the first step. So negative 7 plus 5 are the real parts from both expressions. So negative 7 plus 5 is grouped as 1. And then the imaginary parts are 2i and negative 11i. So we add quantity 2i plus negative 11i. And then we do the operation. So we have negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2 plus 2i plus negative 11i is negative 9i. Can we combine negative 2 plus negative 9i? Of course not, because they are not similar terms. So means to say that the final answer is you just simplify plus the negative 9i. So we have negative 2 minus 9i as our final answer. So let's have another example. Letter B. The quantity 18 plus 27i minus the quantity 2 plus 3i. So again, let's separate the real part from the imaginary part. So the real parts are quantity 18 minus 2, 18 and 2. So 18, this is minus already, so minus 2. Plus the imaginary parts which are 27i. So 27i minus 3i. And then we calculate 18 minus 2 is 16 plus 27i minus 3i is 24i. So can we combine 16 and 24i? No, because they are not similar terms. So that's the final answer. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to answer letter C and then letter D. And then after you answered, you can play again the video to find the answers in the next slides. Okay, here. This is the answer for letter C, and this is for letter D. I hope you got it right. Okay, let's proceed to multiplying complex numbers. You multiply complex numbers by using the distributive property, substituting negative 1 for I squared, and then combining like terms. So let's have the first example. Multiply the complex numbers. The quantity 4 plus 9i multiplied by the quantity 6 minus 2i. So again, we will apply distributive property. So in other words, we will also use FOIL method. So FOIL means you multiply the first term times the first term. So 4 times 6, that is 24. And then the outer terms, 4 times negative 2i, we have negative 8i. And then the inner terms, which are 9i times 6, so positive 54i. And the last terms, 9i times negative 2i is negative 18i squared. Right. Okay, then we will substitute negative 1 to I squared. So we have here, copy everything, 24 minus 8i plus 54i minus 18 times negative 1. So that will be positive 18. And then after that, we will combine positive 18 and 24. So we will have 42. So again, where did we get 42? We combine here, this is 18 here. Okay, negative 18 times negative 1 is positive 18 plus 24, that is 42, and combine negative 8i plus 54i, so we got here 46i. So that is our final answer. So let's proceed to the next example. Negative 3, or the quantity negative 3 plus 12i times the quantity 7 plus 4i. So again, we apply FOIL method. Negative 3 times 7, that is negative 21, and then outer terms negative 3 times positive 4i, that is negative 12i. The inner terms 12i times 7 is positive 84i. Then the last terms positive 12i times 4i, that is 48i squared. And then after that, we will replace I squared with a negative 1. So we have here I squared replaced with negative 1, substitution. Then we combine similar terms. So we have negative 21 plus, or the negative 48. Remember, 48 times negative 1 is negative 48. So if we combine negative 48 and negative 21, we will get negative 69. And the terms here, similar terms, negative 12i plus 84i is positive 72i. Okay, so again, it's your turn here for letter C. And then letter D. Pause the video, and then once you're done answering, you can then check your answers, compare your answers with the answers in the next slides. Okay, again, C, you can pause the video, and then D, pause the video again, and then finally, once you're done, check your answers. These are the answers here. This is the answer for letter C, and this is for letter D. Okay, so if you have any questions, please do let me know in the comment section, and I can answer your doubts if you have any doubts. Okay, so thank you for watching, and stay safe, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. So it's Teacher Ingrid here once again, signing off, and see you in my next video. Bye.